Greetings, Guardians. My name is Bife here. So, we're going to look through the Final Shape launch trailer today, and this means immediately, spoiler warning. Yeah, if you... You know what, I'm going to throw this out there. If you are still unspoiled at this point, just turn your router off. I'm not kidding. Like, seriously, Yeah, you can't possibly take any of these things back when you see them, so... yeah, if you've seen the trailer already, you understand what I mean. If you haven't, please save yourself if you are intent on going in blind, because, wow, yeah, that's your spoiler warning. It's over now. As a quick note, there is no script for this video. Currently, I am working with the massive complete story of Destiny video that I have been working on for the last couple of months or so with Martin and Aslar and a bunch of other people. It's long. It's really long. The goal is to try and release it on the 31st. I don't know what's going to happen with regards to all of that. We're assembling the last pieces of it now. It's over 9 hours. And I know that that is a lot. There will be a few intermissions. I also know there are a bunch of you who are completely mad and will sit there and just be like, oh yeah, I'll watch anything. To those of you who want to go ahead and watch this in more reasonable bite-sized chunks, yeah, there will be plenty of good chaptering for it, so you can jump in and jump out when you want. And for those of you who do want to just sit there and watch it all in one at the premiere, I, again, will have some intervals. It's a lot. It's also been an incredible amount of work. So if you're listening to this, please stick around for that if you can. If you showed up to the premiere, that would make a huge difference. It would mean the world to me. I want this to go really hard. I want this to be the biggest video that I've ever made on the channel because... well, it literally is. So yeah, small note before we actually jump into this trailer, which, as I said before, is completely wild. So, I'm just going to pause at different frames and talk about each one that I think is relevant. So, yeah, let's start with the first truly horrifying part here. Yeah, that looks like the Lost City, and, it's been finalized. I don't know if that's meant to be a vision, or if that's supposed to be something that actually happens, but it's kind of terrifying to just sit there and see. Yeah, it gets much worse in a few frames from here on out. In fact, I'll just let it keep rolling here, but... these are the stakes, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got for you. I'm still kind of in shock at that particular note.
The
witness nears the final shape.
It's reshaping reality into a perfect stillness.
I imagine this has to be a dream sequence. Within the trailer, it's discussed that the witness will start showing various things to all of the different characters within the narrative, as Zavala is one that has a focus put on it. The Traveler here is moving, but also it's moving way too fast, moving out of the ground, and it has this kind of weird, indistinct set of lines that are falling off of it, almost like dark, wispy smoke. This to me reads like a dream sequence. Perhaps it's just the witness trying to show Zavala something that he wants to see, something to do with the Traveler actually recognizing him and intervening in the struggles that he and his friends have gone through for once. Maybe it's trying to show him the opposite of this, which is that the Traveler will not do this, and there is a way of getting out of it and removing the burden, which, yeah, we'll get onto later down in the rest of the trailer. Oh yeah, by the way, you thought I was kidding? These are the stakes. That's Earth. We're finalized. And I don't know if that happens in a dream sequence or not, because, I mean, yeah, given what Mara said earlier in this trailer, the witness approaches the final shape, we could just lose Earth. And it's at this point that I want to refer back to some Vault of Glass lore from literally Destiny 1, where there is a ghost vision that is experienced, which shows a bunch of ships heading on a massive exodus from the Lost City, including even dragging bits and rubble of the old tower. Some of the ships fall off, they lose power in their drives, and then the rest of the Exodus just moves on without them because they don't have enough power reserves to continue onwards. This could just be humanity's fate. I don't know if Bungie will do this, because again, The Cosmodrome and the EDZ are two areas of Earth that are pretty much on the map and are always going to be doing things. So again, this could just be a dream state. It could also be that the Earth just survives, but also is kind of finalized, and therefore when we go back to the Cosmodrome, we're going to see some really wild things. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here, but the stakes are pretty mad now, because, I mean, look at it! Earth's been turned into a cube! Well, not quite precisely, but you get my point. It's not looking good, guys.
I'm done burying my friends.
It's the end of everything. Might as well try to stop it.
One last step together.
Just a little quick note here, by the way. I figured some of you might be looking at what Zavala is looking at, and yes, I'm pretty sure that is part of Amanda Holliday's clothing. Something that I think she might have had on her arm at some point? Not 100% sure. Failing that, it might be a part of Cade's cloak. The point is, I believe this is a sentimental reminder of somebody. I just can't quite figure it out at the moment, but someone in the comments section inevitably is going to give you the answer. I figured it was just worth pointing out.
Into the end.
I wanted to go ahead and pause here because this shot on its own is totally fascinating. Yes, we have a whole bunch of different perspectives on what this might be. It does seem that they're indicating this is what Mission 1's going to look like as you're passing through the portal to get into the Pale Heart. You see what I think is a pyramid ship all the way up at the top. You've got Exodus program vessel bits all over the place. You have some Hive detritus here, which looks as though it's almost from the Dreadnought. In fact, I think this is actually just the main walkway down towards Oryx in the Kingsfall raid. Off to the right, you have the church over in the EDZ. Further off in the distance, not sure about any of those structures, but kind of looks like it might be some bit of the Scarlet Keep, or maybe a part of Savathun's throne world, or the Dreaming City. It's got spires, so it could be any one of those. But the one thing I'm not sure of is why it's all here, and what it's all doing here. This could be as a result of the final shape being enacted, and this is just the cataclysmic event, as everything is kind of being reshaped whilst we're falling through the Traveler. I don't think that's the case. There may be an explanation, but for the moment, just assume that this is what the inside of the portal looks like. And remember also that when Joxer went through without a pathway, yeah, he kind of got merged with his ship, so don't be surprised if you see a lot of the geometry and different kind of art styles of everything just being sort of smashed together. Whilst the shot of Crow standing in front of the last city isn't too remarkable, this shot here I think is. And it's because I think that Zavala here is experiencing a vision and is being shown something. In particular, the pyramid ships, the pyramid architecture, this looks as though it's kind of the precursor civilization. This might not necessarily be the case, but we'll have to wait and see, because there is something which inevitably people are going to ask me about later on in the trailer, and yes, we're coming up to it. For those of you who didn't look at the vidoc, by the way, which I know I never got to cover, but I'm making a 9.5-hour video for you guys, so, you know, some priorities. Yeah, this strike is meant to be an imagination of what the precursor civilization was like back in the day. And, wow, yeah, if this is indeed what it was like, then it kind of tells us and shows us what's going on. And it gives us some more context on that veiled figure statue, which, again, I'm just going to hold off and wait until that clip at some point.
This place.
It's hard to describe. An infection. Festering. You said it spoke to you.
Oh my, oh my, oh my, how long have we been waiting for this moment? Yes, I've seen it, and no, I don't know what's going on with it. As I discussed in a recent video that I published, there is a lot of stuff we do not understand about the most basic mythology of the universe. We also don't know exactly what is going on in this moment when Zavala is seeing some kind of vision. We don't know who's showing it to him. We don't know what is happening. But there are some distinct possibilities for who this character might be. The first that I want to discuss really briefly is the Gardener. There is a vision that Saint 14 had a long time ago, which was basically somebody coming up to him whilst he was fighting to the Deepstone Crypt in one of his dreams, and they're wearing a sort of black funeral shroud almost. The description is eerily similar. They look like a woman who has hair that is prematurely grey, and they treat him almost like a mother would treat an injured child, and they kind of scold him for going into battle. if that's the case, maybe this figure is representative of the Gardener. The immediate thing that I think people will jump to is the fact that, yes, this looks exactly like the Veiled statues. And here's the thing. I don't know whether this is right or not. I've just gone on about whether the Winnower is real or not for an hour and 20 minutes in a video. And there are many people in the community who are going to speculate one way or another. But I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there. Yeah, maybe this is the Winnower. And the reason for that is because if you remember what was said by Arsa in the cutscene that we got back in Season of the Deep, the people of the Precursor Civilization wanted a Winnower so that they could shape society, they could shape civilization, they could shape the universe. And that was kind of the thing that they were aspiring to. That was their means of creating the final shape. They found it in darkness. Now, I don't know why that would appear in the Traveler, but by that same token, if this is something being shown to Zavala by the Witness, maybe this is their realization of that Winnower. Maybe this is something they saw. And if that is the case, maybe it's proof that the Winnower does exist. But whatever happens, look out for this veiled figure. I don't know what's happening with them. I don't know who they could be. And I'm not going to put predictions down on anything just yet because, frankly, we don't know. And again, I'll say what I said in that video one more time. I want Bungie to be able to tell their own story. But clearly this figure is going to be important enough that they will tie in with the mystery of what the Veiled statue at the heart of the Pyramid ships really is. This is the most important frame of the video, and I hate my own spoiler policy because, my god, what a thumbnail this would be. But also, yeah, not spoiling people in thumbnail, because they got no choice over that. Anyway, let's continue.
The Witness shows us what it...
So, in this small set of shots here, Zavala is clearly seeing an outstretched hand instead of this massive wall of goop. Yeah, this is the infection that is absolutely overrunning the Pale Heart of the Traveler, which is as a result of the Witness. The thing is, it's showing him what he wants to see, and that's Sophia. He misses his long-dead wife, and understandably so. The Witness is trying to reach out with something that he thinks he wants, and the question is arising for people, is Zavala going to be strong enough to resist that? I don't know, but that's purely because I don't think anybody's had to face a situation quite like this.
It spoke to you.
The Witness shows us what it thinks we want. It's a lie.
As a really quick note, there is this frame here of Cayde looking at a funeral shroud, a funeral pall. That was the same one that was laid over him, but that might not be him. It might instead be Amanda's, it might be representative of his wife. I don't know. It's one of those things where it's really not clear. Amanda did have a similar funeral pall cast over her, so it's entirely possible this is Cayde lamenting the death of a friend. If that is the case, then man, that sucks. Also, so it's very hard to actually catch on video, but there's these two little frames here. It looks like an astronaut, and then an astronaut being filled with prismatic energy, and yeah, I have no clue what's going on with that, or why it appears next to Cayde. Fascinating to look at it, and fascinating to see, but I have no insights to give on this one. Not a clue. Could be representative of Chow Mielova, Jacob Hardy, one of the original 3 astronauts on the Ares 1 program, but honestly, I haven't the foggiest.
Lightbearer, let us lift the weight of suffering. Join us.
I gotta say it, I just can't get this image out of my head. No lore analysis, just wow, that's it. I'll also sit there and say this is the first time I think the Witness has actually been a menacing character in my mind. Because, wow, it's put in the context of the characters we know.
Zavala, please, don't do this.
Got everything. Why don't you think?
As a quick little note, I took a closer look at what that ship is. It's a bit hard to see it, and I might be wrong here. That looks like the helm. Could be a catch because there's one engine side that we see, but to me it looks as though it's got that lower region where all of the decks are that we take a look out from, and it looks as though it's the helm. And if so, yeah, does that mean the Witness gets to anyone who's on board? Could that mean that it potentially ends Mara Sov or someone else who's important who might be there? Is this just another vision? It's really not clear, but clearly the Witness has a grasp of the situation and is making a menacing move. Who knows, maybe the helm just gets destroyed or grounded.
Keep moving!
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, I audibly gasped in this moment. Ikora potentially dying is not something that I had on the table, and granted, you know, mortal wounds being shown off like this in a trailer doesn't necessarily mean anything for a Guardian. We can even see that Ophiuchus is right next to her in the next few frames, Ophiuchus being her ghost. So, you know, it's not guaranteed that she's gone, but by that same token, yeah, not looking good. They don't do this without reason. So, you know, little disconcerting.
Nobody makes my fate but me.
Just gonna throw it out there, I've waited for so many years for a scene like this, and oh my god, it's happening. All the Guardian jump ships, every skiff, every ketch, every Cabal Thresher and command vessel and carrier, and oh man, that's, yeah, I've been waiting for a Mass Effect 3 moment like this, and boy oh boy, does this look like a Mass Effect 3 moment. Not to mention the next few shots of all the Guardians landing. Oh man, I just can't wait. Oh god, this is gonna be so damn cool. Again, I'm just going to pause here before Ikora drops her Nova Bomb, and I'm going to point out again, this could be a vision. It could also just be one of those moments that actually does happen. But the fact that it's a Vex attacking here gives me the pause and question, and it didn't look like a Sol Divisive Vex that was attacking either, it just looked like a normal Vex frame. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it's something that just happens in a vision and Ikora's resolve is being tested. But again, do note, her ghost, Ophiuchus, is there with her, so unless it just falls over and dies in another scene, yeah, she will still be with us, but again, who knows? I mean, they weren't afraid of killing Cayde, so I guess we'll find out.
I had a dream.
So yeah, that's mostly it with regards to my thoughts on the final Shape trailer. I will say, wow, the response to this trailer online has been phenomenal. And also, I don't think I've ever seen the stakes of one of our adventures in Destiny portrayed so directly. I don't think we've ever sat there and seen the entirety of the universe be put up in the balance and then they actually show us that. Seeing Earth getting completely, I mean, finalized. I don't know if there's another word for it. Cubed, finalized, shredded, atomized. Yeah, that's not something I was expecting to see in a trailer, let alone in the actual game. So, the stakes are big here. Tune in for more Destiny content over the next few days. Again, in particular, I've got that one absolutely massive video coming out. I'm literally putting together the last section of it before I do the master edit, and pray that my PC can handle that. By the way, little shout out to Ascendant Nomad who gave me some very important editing tips to make sure that Premiere doesn't decide that it wants to spontaneously crash and burn. All that being said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, go ahead and leave a like, and also go ahead and let me know your own thoughts down below in the comments section. In particular, who do you think the Veiled figure is? That is our big question. Nothing else is as important. Anyway, as per usual, know that your viewership as always has been quite enough for me, and that in the meantime my name is Byf. Parodacia ad Astra. I'll see you Starside.